Problem 2 in homework 4 is almost identical to problem 1, except this time we have new numbers for consumer wealth, expected future income, etc. Now down here I've already inserted the new values for consumer wealth. It was $9.541 trillion. Expected future income is $8.008 trillion. The real rate of interest is 5%. Tax revenue is $3.09 trillion. Investment expenditure is $2.508 trillion. Government expenditure is $3.53 trillion. Export is $2.8 trillion. The MPC is 0.78, and the MPM is 0.29. The slope, again, is the MPS, which is 1 minus the MPC, plus the MPM. The MPS is 0.22. The slope is equal to that plus the MPM. So in this case, the slope is 0.51. And the intercept is 18.97680. To 3 decimal places, it is 18.977. The budget deficit is $0.44 trillion. The MPC implies consumer expenditure increases by 78 cents for each $1 increase in disposable income. The MPS is equal to 0.22. It implies that consumer savings increases by 22 cents for each $1 increase in disposable income. The MPM, which is 0.29, implies that imports increase by 29 cents for each $1 increase in real GDP. The initial aggregate demand model has an intercept equal to this value, 18.977, and a slope equal to 0.51. If you were to print this diagram off, you would label this axis PL for price level, and it's in thousands of dollars. You'd label this axis Y for real GDP, and it'd be in trillions of dollars. Now the price level is equal to this value here. Real GDP is going to be equal to 14.24275. 14.24275. We wanted it 3 decimal places though, because the 4th digit is 7, we make that 23. Imports, remember imports equals the marginal propensity to import times real GDP. So imports equals the marginal propensity to import times 14.24275. C8 is a marginal propensity to import. Real GDP is equal to 14.24275. So imports at that level of GDP is 4.130. Net exports, if you recall, is exports minus imports. So if exports total $2.8 trillion and imports total $4.130 trillion, then net exports is negative 1.330. Now, since that's a negative, there's a trade deficit, and that trade deficit is $1.330, and you don't need the negative sign. If tax revenues are cut by $0.411 trillion, the initial level is $3.09 trillion. If we cut taxes by $0.411 trillion, we're going to subtract that value from the initial taxation level. So the new level of tax revenues is much lower, $2.679 trillion. The intercept of the new aggregate demand model is higher than it was, is greater than it was. It is now 19.297. It was 18.977. The slope is still 0.510. Recall that taxes are in the intercept of the aggregate demand model. Taxes do not show up in the slope, so the slope does not change. So the black curve is before the tax cut. The red curve is after the tax cut. And you can see aggregate demand shifted outward. So the tax cut, like an increase in government spending, stimulated aggregate demand. Now the budget deficit increased by the amount of the tax cut. The tax cut was $0.411 trillion. So the budget deficit increased by $0.411 trillion. The budget deficit increased to $0.851 trillion, or $851 billion. The cut in tax revenue is an example of fiscal policy, which is conducted by Congress and the President. Now I'm going to check my work, and we should get everything correct. And we do.